This week on The Untold, we sit with a nonagenarian, Nana Timothy Ayekusi, as he shares his life story with us. A man who's lived pre-independence into post-independence time shares with us what he thinks about life today and all the perspectives about his life, as well as some of the things that he hopes would inspire you and I in this week's edition. All the details are right here with us. Come along. Hello, Grandma.
Hello. How are you?
Very well, Grandma.
Oh,
I hope you're
welcome.
fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. How is Daddy?
He's fine.
Very well, very well. Great.
You'll be happy to see you.
We are also glad to be here. We're actually glad.
Welcome.
Thank you. Nana Kusi was just 6 years old when his father sent him away to live with his uncle in the hills of Mampong. And he explains why his father had to take such a decision.
I am Nana Kusi. I was born during the Depression year on January 9th, 1932. I was born into a Christian home. My father moved from town to the Christian quarters when I was at the age of 3. And we lived in a very modest, thatched house. There was a catechist house, and then there was an elder also has a house, and we lived in a thatched house. But later on, my father put up a Swiss house containing about 10 rooms. Then we had my aunt and her children living in the compound house together with my grandmother and her children. At the age of 6, my father sent me to live with his brother, my uncle, at Nintin, which was about 5 miles away, up on the hill going to Mampong. Well, in my childhood, I found out that my father had gone to the north trading in cola, and the last trip he made was in 1935. And he came back with what they call bushmeat. Dry. He goes with the cola, about 6-7 bags of cola, and then he returns with shea nut, meat, and then the Northern food products.
Going to school for him was a privilege, even though he had to trek 2 miles each day to get that education. His father, on one hand too, had a wild expectation for him and his future.
In 1937, I entered school, and the school was up to standard 3, to class 3. So we had class 1, class 1A, class 1B, class 2, class 3. 2 teachers were teaching. One taking class 1A and B, and then the other taking class 2 and class 3. Enrollment was then not encouraging. People were not interested in education. I was lucky to attend school. I found out that my classmates most of them were looking had their guardians being uncles. A few of us, Christians, were looking were by our fathers. It was during our turn, going to standard 1, that the school was upgraded to standard 1. So we were spared the benefit of not walking to Jamasi for the junior school. We finished the infant junior school in 1944, and then in 1945, during the war, we had to walk 2 miles every day to school, to senior school at Jamasi Presbyterian School. Throughout the junior school years, there was rage, there was poverty. The Second World War was going on, and then intermittently there were hunger, and sometimes we had to walk miles to buy food from neighboring towns. In 1946, when the war was over, we celebrated the Victory Day celebration at Mampong. All the schools within the district, from Efujasi, from Jamasi, from within Mampotonia Council, came to Mampong to celebrate. I sat for the Standard 7 examination in 1948 and passed with distinction. At that time, there was no common entrance. Students had to find their own schools. I was lucky, I was admitted to Adisada, but later on, I also had admission at the Kropon Training College. The catechist impressed upon my father that it was better I go to training college rather than the secondary school, and that after teaching for some time, I'll become a pastor, a reverend. My father was enthused about it.
Nana Kusi's career as a teacher took off, and he would serve at a number of stations until a bigger opportunity to leave Ghana knocked at his door.
In 1949, I registered at the Kropon Training College to start the 4-year teacher training Certificate A program. We were the 101st to enter the years to enter the school. The school had celebrated the 100 years anniversary in 1948, and we were the first batch of students to enter Kropon Training College. The class was composed of 3 kinds of people. We had ex-servicemen, about 1/3 of them, ex-servicemen who were teaching and who are coming in to train. And then we have people teachers who have been teaching for some time. And then the third group was the straight students coming straight from the Standard 7, from the senior school, then senior school. We finished in 1952. when we were certified as trained teachers, being sent to the field. It was in 1951 that during the Nkrumah's Kodjobotio's accelerated education plan that we started having subsidies. Trained teachers were paid £7. That was the amount of money given to pupil teachers. And then the £7 was paid to the training college for tuition and boarding. And I remember that 30 shillings, £1.10 was left for us as a subsidy. And so the teacher's subsidy that exists today was started during during the accelerated education plan in 1951, and I think it has been continuing to date. It was at the same time that the training colleges were expanded to have post-sec, 2-year post-secondary students also being trained. And at the same time, the 4-year stream was divided into two, that's set B and set A. So many training colleges were set up as certificate B schools to train teachers to man the schools. At the same time, with post-sec also coming in to augment. We were lucky that the accelerated education plan had a lot of opportunities for teachers. Teachers were privileged to undertake further training in specified subjects like PT, physical education, music, arts, and so on and so forth at the Kumasi College of Technology. I was sent to Brong Ahafo, Sunyani Odumasi, which was then heavily invested by guinea worms. But I took care of myself. In those days, in July and August, there will be absenteeism. Most of the peoples had that guinea worm and they could not come to school. Fortunately, today, I think it has been completely eradicated. I took advantage of the opportunity, and then in 1956, came to Kumasi College of Technology to do specialized course in physical education. After which I was sent to Asante Mampong Presbyterian boarding school. Whilst teaching, I took time to better my education. I did a O-level and then also A-level. And in 1960, I was also appointed as an assistant education officer. I went through the orientation program, and I was stationed at Bibiani. At the same time, I had admission from a college in the United States. So I decided to forego the AEO appointment, get my passport, and undertake the further education in the US.
In the United States of America, the young Nana Kusi would come to find out that he was making history just by gaining admission to that university in the USA.
In January 1962, I flew to Kentucky, and then I started a program in business education. Whilst there, I was visiting the local Presbyterian church. One summer, I was invited to go with him to the Presby Synod taking place at Kentucky, Danville in Kentucky. I was invited to speak on Ghana. At that time, Ghana was about 5 years, and I spoke on how education started in Ghana, and how Ghana had marched, and how Ghana had obtained the independence, and then there was an urge on everyone to develop, and therefore I had come to the United States to further my education. I told them that efforts have been done by the government to send people on scholarship to various parts of the country, various parts of the world, to learn so that we can go back and then develop Ghana. Well, at that point, at the synod, I realized that it was a campus, and it was a very nice, small college. So I expressed my wish to move in there. Fortunately, I had admission, and it happened to be a school which was founded in 1819. And I happened to be the first black person to enter the school. Prior to that, the state laws prohibited colors going to the school. But there has been a Supreme Court judgment that all schools should be desegregated. So I was lucky that they applied that rule, and I was the first black person to be admitted into the school. I remember that afternoon when I entered was 18th September 1962. And that was the very day Meredith was being admitted in the University of Alabama, where there was great commotion. But I found Center College to be quiet, modest. With my transcript, instead of 4-year program, I had credits, 1-year credit. So I finished in 1965 with the BA degree in economics and business administration. I continued from there to Atlanta University. First, I came to New York. I went to New York, New School for Social Science Studies on 12th Street, New York. But I found New York to be very expensive. And without scholarship, I decided to move to Atlanta University, where I had my MBA.
The Peace Corps will become another home for him, and with the rich work and experience he gathered from there, he became convinced it was time to return home.
Luckily, from 65 through 68, I had been working with the Peace Corps program during the summers when they were training the volunteers coming to Ghana. I started in 65 at the Peace Corps volunteer training program in Atlanta in 1965. Then in 1966, we trained them at Barnard College in New York near Columbia University. Then in 1967, we did the same thing at Wesley near Boston. Then the Peace Corps invited me to undertake a language program in their Peace Corps training at St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. So I took the advantage to go to the West Indies, and I was able to visit St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Kitts, and many of the islands where the Peace Corps, after their training, would be visiting. In 1968, Peace Corps invited me to accompany Ghana training program to do their first time in-country training in Ghana. So I came with two programs. The teachers who were being trained at the Theological Institute, and the co-ops who were being trained at Kumasi Kwadaso Agric Station. It was after the program that I decided to forego my doctorate degree program at Indiana Bloomington and to settle in Ghana to work. Since I was teaching, the Ministry of Education invited me to work with them in a program underway, which was introducing the commercial subjects into the secondary school system. Prior to that, there were 2-year commercial private schools doing commercial subjects, typing and shorthand and so on and so forth. But this attempt was to expand and then introduce business education into the secondary school program. I was happy to join them, and I worked with one Canadian expert, A.L. Agu, and we had about 13 pilot schools throughout Ghana where we launched the program. In Accra, we had the Labone Secondary School and Accra Academy. In Kumasi, we have Commercial Academy, and then the Yasantua. In the north, we had the Tamale Business School, and then another one, and then at Abuakwa State College. It has been great. Looking back, it's been great because now business education is part and parcel of the secondary school, which wasn't before 1950. Whilst working at the education, I joined the MDPI, Management Development and Productivity Institute, as an assistant consultant, training, organizing short courses for supervisors and first management. But I was also invited to Liver Brothers through attending a management association meeting. I was invited and then interviewed, and again I was appointed into the marketing department as brand manager. I was first in charge of the hard soaps and soaps in general. Then I moved to edible products like the margarine. We introduced the first made margarine in Ghana in 1971. And then Wholesome, which is a baking powder. And then I was invited for discussion, and I was moved from marketing to human resource, where but I was giving attachment programs to strengthen my background before putting me into the position. From Liver Brothers, I joined the PZ. PZ had been a purely trading company, and they were moving into manufacturing, and they needed someone who could recruit and settle people in a manufacturing plant in Tema. They had the thread factory, which is no more. They have Sparta, which is no more. They have AIL, which has now been expanded to producing medicaments, and then also some domestic products. Then I joined in 1961 GIMPA. At GIMPA, I was directing programs, human resource management, and then general management. There I had the opportunity to visit India, and I trained at Administrative Staff College of India. I've been a very traditional and academic organization. They organize short training courses, research and consultancy programs. This program was for general managers and managing directors. So we went through programs like strategic planning, corporate planning, and then looking at the organization, the various departments like marketing, production, engineering, human resource, and so on and so forth. At the same time, in 1986, I also undertook training at the Institute of Management at the Botswana, in Botswana. This course was about educating managers and teacher training and trainers training program. Whilst working at the at GIMPA, I was invited by the government to go to the State Enterprise Commission as executive director in charge of human resources. This organization was overseeing the activities of state enterprises. There were 3 of us executive directors: human resource, accounts and finance, and then planning, monitoring, and evaluation. And we had a chairman. So this was the time when there were restructuring going on. World Bank had reviewed and was has recommended the state enterprise state enterprises reform program, and we had to divest many of the companies, and then also strengthen some also. It was at the state enterprises that I retired in 1972 when I was 60. And then I decided to undertake consultancies. I registered a company called Peak Management Services. I first worked as a project manager at a US aid program, which was undertaking training people in non-traditional export. We had programs dealing with cashew farmers, solo pawpaw growers, and then also black pepper farming. We also dealt with exporters, yam exporters and garment exporters, and that was a 3-year program. Then I have done consultancies with World Bank and Commonwealth. Commonwealth. One of them took us to Gambia, where we did a strategy for trading with the Gambian civil and public service. By and large, since 1992, I've been in consultancy to date. For the past 2 years, there isn't much consultancy, and we seem to be idle. But by and large, we are happy and then making it.
At the 200th anniversary of his school, Center College in the United States of America, in 2019, he got a rare opportunity to grace the occasion as a special guest. Nana Kusi explains why his selection was even more special.
2 years ago, in 2019, I was invited by Center College, the school I attended in the US. I was to be an honorary guest of honor at their 200th anniversary. They were celebrating the 200th anniversary. It was started in 1819. And I was invited because, looking at the history of the college, they found out that the greatest thing that the college had done was integration. So they invited me as the first black as the guest of honor. At that anniversary, I was also given, I was awarded the Integration Pioneer. And we spent about a week at the ceremony, and then I was taking around activities within my wife and I around Kentucky, visiting Lincoln's birthplace and boyhood place. I also took advantage to visit my church, the church I attended at Danville, Kentucky, and they took me to the Presbyterian headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky, for a visit. I spent about 4 months after that, and returned when the COVID-19 started.
In 1971, a few years before he went on retirement, he met his current wife, and he talks about how he met her.
My first marriage ended whilst I was in the US, and whilst working in Ghana after 1971, I found my wife, Mercy Abigail Amprechum, and who was the first daughter of the senior linguist of the Traditional Council at Mampong, Ochiami Okofo Techi Amprechum. So we married then. He was then a nurse working first at Kolebu and then in Accra at Kumasi Central Hospital when she finished, but then was transferred to Accra. Since then, she's undergone through midwifery and then public health nursing, and she moved. Whilst I was working with Liver Brothers, she joined me at Tema in 1972. We've been since married. Yes.
His wife, Mercy, also describes circumstances under which they met, describing him as a historian, a disciplinarian, but a very faithful man.
Whilst I was doing the public health nursing, I met my husband. So because of that, after completing the public health nursing, I was going to be posted to the north. But because of him, it couldn't come up because he wouldn't allow me to go. So I had to leave the Ministry of Health and then join the industrial nursing. So I joined Ghana Aluminium Products as the senior nurse at the factory. And in fact, I remained there till I retired. I worked with them till I came on retirement. And it's because of him we came to Tema. At first, we were staying at Community 2, and then later on, we had this building, and then we moved here. We've been here since then. He's been my husband, and I've lived with him throughout the years we've spent in Tema here. He is a quiet person. If you come to visit him, then you see that he is a historian. He knows everything, almost everything. But when you are with him in the house, he doesn't talk. He's so quiet. He will be sticking to his books. And now that the phones are with us, always with the phone. Sometimes even when we are talking to him, he won't hear because he's so with the phone. And he is a disciplinarian with the children. I can see that he's faithful. What I realized about him is that wherever he is working, he will remain faithful. Even I remember when he was with the Liver Brothers, I heard that they were giving passbooks to people. So I wanted to have a passbook in addition to my nursing career. I told him and he disagreed. He never helped me. He said he wouldn't do it. When he went with a PZ I wanted to have another passbook, he didn't agree. He wants to remain to his duty and then to be faithful. He doesn't want to give the job to any other person, a relative or his wife or anybody.
But how has Nana Kusi lived so long? His wife lets out all the secrets.
He's not, he doesn't choose much about food. He's not so choosy. Whatever you give him, he will eat. He is not a person who says, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that. The only thing I've seen is He lives more on leaves. Leaves. There isn't any leaf in Ghana here that he doesn't know how to eat it. Sometimes, even when he goes out, we go out and he's coming, he will be carrying his own leaves. Prepare this for me and prepare that for me. So he's been depending on the leaves. I think that has helped him to live up to this age because he eats a lot of leaves. And then fruits. He doesn't eat much. And he likes sleeping. He can sleep. Even you'll be sitting with him conversing. By the time you turn your head, he's asleep. He sleeps a lot. And I know sleeping too is a medicine. It helps. So that one too helps him to live up to this. And he's not very difficult to live with. It's not so difficult to live with. We've been living here peacefully. I don't worry him much. And he doesn't worry me. So we live at peace.